All right, thank you very much. We are back on United Everything Football Podcast. It's great to have you here joining us on this podcast. My name is Kwame. I'm here with Kwame Enchibuesiako, and joining us after a long hiatus, Daniel Cranton, aka Sexy Zegzy. He's back on the podcast with us. Danny, good to have you back on the podcast, Charlie.
Charlie, good to be here. Good to be here. There's so much I have to say about my play. So much.
so much you have to say. So much.
Very unfair to my guy, but it's cool. It's cool.
So I saw you arguing so much the other day that why people were blaming him for not taking the shot and passing. Why? What was the problem?
You see, I always say that footballers are not machines. So they are humans. Sometimes you just need to apply like normal human thinking. Yeah. What would you do if you were through what you were going through? The guy is shocked. Like, you can see it. It's like he's almost afraid to receive a pass. He gets a chance. Look, if he was got a chance from that angle, trust me, he'll shoot. Yeah. But with the kind of form he's going through, with the kind of performances he's churning out, you don't expect him to take a shot from that angle. And if he misses, it will become another case. So that's what he could have done, was to lay it on to somebody who actually had a better opportunity. Look, we would have had this conversation if he had made a pass, if it was Bruno Fernandes or Ahmad in that position. Yeah. It's because Maguire. But again, what was Maguire doing there? And Maguire is a professional footballer. He should be able to hit the target from that range. So that is it's not sexy. And another thing I wanted to see, they substituted him after 30. The Newcastle game. Yeah. The one they substituted. Look, see, the man who fans in UK, this is a new guy who has come in. Yeah. And to be aside, even Ahmad said because we are going through, but he has given consistently good performances since the start of the season. That's true. Extra. Yeah. And you have a player who has come in. He's settling into the life have come on. The points I'm again. This are behaving like Man U. One small win, then you think but is it like Zegzy settled into what life at Man U, like what he expected to the sort of football he expected to then they had, and a new manager has come in, and the new manager system is nothing he has ever seen in his life. Like, he has not played football close to that. Probably somebody who was already now starting to settle. He hadn't even settled yet. Now starting to settle. Tactical change happened. Like, since when the Man United fans become
Danike, it's in the crack the same. Like, what you
No. Sexy Zegzy, right now, that one, like, I understand the guy is let's not sit like, let's not vocalize the thing like that. Yeah. And to be frank, these are some of these situations. I look out there, and I'm not supposed to say this on this podcast, but this is why I sometimes I just sit back and I really respect Chelsea fans. They are players, but do not allow opposition fans to see it. You get it? Yeah. Like,
so let's defend the defenseless.
Somebody else who has had enough time to settle and is giving up performance. Somebody who has been here for 2 months.
This is an early rant from Danny K. We have not even introduced the podcast to. We just introduced him. I just asked him Zegzy, and he's all over trying to defend his man. Anyway, we remember to hit the subscribe button if this is the first time you ever joined us on this podcast, and also remember to like the videos. Also remember to share with your friends. It's very, very important that you do that. I'm here with Kwame, and I'm here with Danny as well, as you know. So let's make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we'll delve into the issues. We'll be talking transfers. A lot is happening. A whole lot is happening on the transfer front. Also, we'll be talking the game against Arsenal in the FA Cup. I'll pick Danny's thoughts on, because it's been a while since he's been here, I'll pick his thoughts about what exactly has been happening around the club, and since Ruben Amorim came in and everything, we'll be discussing here on United and Everything. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. Here with Daniel Cranton and Kwame Njubuesiaku. Thanks for joining us. Remember to subscribe, hit the like button, give us the 100 likes or more. It's very important, as usual. You know you do it. So just pause and give us a like before you continue watching. All right, so a lot has been happening. I mean, between the Liverpool game and now, a lot of news, whirlwind of news on the transfer. You know, we are in the January transfer market, and anytime there is transfers, there's a lot that goes on. United situation looks interesting. Very, very interesting. As a result of some mismanagement that has happened over the time, we find ourselves in a very difficult situation, at least from the reports that's emerging, that it's very difficult for us to sign players because we are constrained by what is referred to as PSR and FFP. As a result of that, we are having to do a lot of maneuvering around. Yesterday, a news came out that really, really put a lot of United fans on the edge and brought about a lot of sentimental reactions and all of that. That players that are not safe now from being sold are our own academy graduates. And two names that popped out that have the greatest value from our academy now are Alejandro Garnacho and Kobe Mainoo. As it stands, Marcus Rashford, as we know, is already on the market. Yeah, his agent is already shopping around or going around and looking for clubs for him. But that's the situation, and the situation is very, very difficult. Daniel, I will start with you. I'm sure you've seen everything that is happening around and all the news that's going on and why it's difficult for us to do business. What do you make of all of these situations around the club?
It's very disappointing, and I'll take it from the summer transfer window, the one that just completed. I'm much more disappointed in Ineos than the Glazers, because the Glazers, we know how they are. So I'm to go on their case again, it will just be singing the same old song. But I'm very disappointed in Ineos because you remember the pod straight after the FA Cup final, where we spoke about not being sentimental. We've won the cup. The guy is not good enough. Sack him and bring somebody new. They didn't do that. And then they bought players who, from the outside, you could tell were Ten Hag type players. Not necessarily saying that Ten Hag wanted them, but players who, when they come in, they can suit the style of football that we saw at Ajax. Something that. Then they get rid of Ten Hag and they bring in a manager who's completely different from Ten Hag, who needs players to be able to execute what he wants to do. So what they've done is they've rendered the summer transfer useless. That's basically what they've done. And it's very painful because when we're taking those transfers, if you remember, we thought they were really good transfers. We thought they were, especially at least from the defensive point of view, they were transfers that came in and sorted out the problems that we had. Offensively, we thought that after buying Zexi, maybe we need another specialist number 9, and now we are done. Now we are looking at the case where we literally don't have a number 9 in the team. The way Amorim plays, he would heavily depend on his number 9 to get him a lot of his goals. Unlike maybe, I'm not saying, okay, I want to use Ten Hag type of manager. A front three can share the goals amongst his front three. So, ourselves in another very difficult situation. It's very annoying for me because when you look at the caliber of people who've been put in charge, that Ineos have put, like Barada and these guys, they've run successful football ventures. Like they understand what building means. So when you make this knee-jerk reaction, you sack Ten Hag midway and then you bring in Amorim. First of all, who brings in a manager like Ruben Amorim in the middle of a season? A manager who have to start a system, a new philosophy from scratch. Like, it's very difficult, and it hurts me for Amorim because when you watch Man United, and I was telling a friend the other day, when you watch Man United, you can clearly see what the coaching is. You can clearly see what the instruction. What you can see is the players are not good enough, and this is the first time in a very long time that I've seen a Manchester United manager be so clear in what he wants, and then we can start to spot players who will not help going forward. But the issue now is, now that you have the opportunity to see the ones who are not good enough and the opportunity to see the ones you can clear and bring in, there's no money, or it is very difficult for you to bring in players who fit the caliber of Man United, who will be able to get things running. So, look, this thing is not. It's not one of the transfer windows where you can enter with a lot of hope because now you the defensive, we can go and get this person. It's not even about identifying who you want. Now you have to think about who you can sell. And you mentioned the names. Look, the Menu and Garnacho thing. For me, honestly, I don't care. I've reached the point where I don't care. I don't care if they were promoted today, and I don't care. We have to, the same way we are resetting Ghana, we have to reset Man United, and it will be difficult decisions to do that.
Whatever it takes.
As long as it works, I'm good. And look, to be frank, we've seen better players pass through Man United's academy and graduate. We've seen better players than Menu. David Beckham was at his prime when he left. We replaced him. It wasn't anything. We've seen better players than Garnacho. To be frank, the Rashford who is flopping today was better than Garnacho at his age. And if I got like we sell Rashford,
Thank you.
I got like we sell Rashford then. So for me, and you see, you always need to ask yourself. I always tell Man United fans, the standard that Ferguson set, the day we lose sight of that standard, that's the day we fall in as a club. So, can Man United, and like all things being equal, can they walk into a market and get 2 or 3 players who are better than Garnacho? The answer is yes. The answer is there's no reason why Man United, this thing that they say Rashford is talking to AC Milan, there's no reason why Man United can't look in AC Milan's face and tell them, give us Rafael Leao and take Rashford. There's no reason why we can't do that. We have the power, we have the clout, and we have a standard.
But you don't have the money.
AC Milan too don't have money. That's the beautiful thing. Milan too don't have money. And the thing about when they say Man United doesn't have money, Man United doesn't have money means Man United can spend 150 million. That's what it means. That's Man United not money. When Man United have money, that's when we can spend 400 to 500 million a transfer window. So the 150 million, no, it's not like there's no money. For a long time, we have to be very tactful about how we go around and we spend the money.
That's true.
And that's what we are used to. So it is 10 Man United doesn't have money. But if they are smart, we can still get a good transfer window. Not something that will bring instant success, but something that will be a stepping stone. And then in the summer, we will not need to run around the place looking for people. At least we have the foundations in place for Amorim to be able to get things running. But Amorim, the better pick. See, I promise you, Amorim, it will work.
If I pick, we tire, we don't get choice. So if I pick,
Charlie. That was a very good analysis. I mean, that was a very good. We've spoken about a lot of these things and how we've put ourselves in this situation and all of that. But interestingly, I don't know, Kwame, let me get to you. Or Danny, before I get to Kwame, Danny, let me get to you. Now, even if you look at the transfers that happened, I don't know, but I can mention about just 4 of them, 4 out of 5 that are doing very well. Ugarte is playing very well.
Yeah.
Fitting into the system.
Yeah.
Mazraoui, irrespective of whatever system or everything, is playing very well. I think the Ligt is doing fine.
Yeah.
He's one of our best performers, all things being equal. Euro, we've seen what he can do. The only odd one out has been Zegzi.
Yeah.
It's not looking nice. But he says he wants to stay and fight. But don't you think, although with the quality of analysis you've provided, still the transfer window in the summer wasn't that bad generally?
When and thanks for giving the opportunity to clarify. When I say we've rendered it almost useless, when you looked at Man United before, let's say straight after the FA Cup final, there were 2 areas, at least from my POV, that we seriously needed to tackle. The defense, which was dying. Yeah. And then attack. Because if you noticed, last season, in the absence of Højlund, we didn't have any recognized number 9. So it was that we got somebody who could at least compete with him. Somebody who was slightly better. Yeah. And remember, although I like the Zegzi signing, I still said we needed a proper number 9. Yeah. Because, and that's why I feel sad for Zegzi, because especially football in England, if Zegzi had joined any other team, in fact, any other country, I don't think they would have been as critical as the Premier League. Zex's situation is very similar to Kai Havertz. I don't think the Premier League pundits really understand like next level tactical roles and things that when somebody is not a number 9, a pure number 9, they just don't understand that the person is not a number 9. Like Femi to England wasn't a number 9. And it took up to be able to mold him into something that will fit. But when he left, he wasn't an out-and-out number 9. No matter how you want to brand it. Somebody like Gabriel Jesus, nobody understood the exact position he plays.
Only Ateta says he's a chaos guy.
Like, you can't really pin him. And in the Premier League, it's very difficult. Similar to exactly what I said about Havertz. People didn't understand. He's standing at the number 9. Why can't he score? He's not a pure finisher. He might have the movement. He might have some of the instinct, but he's not a pure finisher. So once you compare him to the established number 9s, you always fall short. But modern day football has a fitting players like that into a system that will bring the best out of them. And that's a funny thing. Zexi is not a number 9. He's also not a number. He can get you assists, but he needs an environment or a system that will bring the best out of him. Now the question is, when he was coming, did we think that the Ten Hag of Ajax could be able to fashion something out? Yes,
I get the point now.
Yeah, can Amorim do that? And is he worth Amorim sacrificing his system for? That's the thing. So when you look at his price tag, why didn't you go and buy somebody fit for all coaches? That's my issue.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I have something against Zexi. But striker who could score goals, whether it's Ten Hag, whether it's Amorim, whether it's Tuchel, whoever comes in, the person will by all means want to use a number 9, and the person, the player will be able to fit in. Now you've put Zexi in a very difficult position, and you've put yourself in a very difficult position because right now there are no goals in the team. It's an issue. That's my issue with the summer transfer window. When you talk about the defenders, it was a very and we marked it, and I still believe it. Look at Mazraoui, Delete, you guys have played systems before. This is not the first time. And if you look at how versatile they are in this. Today, Delete is playing in the center. Tomorrow he's playing on the right. Today, Mazraoui is playing on the right. He's playing right wing. You need players like that. And I'm not really worried about the results. I can see the final thing. That's how I can see it.
The blueprint is clear to you.
When everything picks, you have Cameroon coming to a press conference to tell you that he lost the game because his first choice wing back was injured. Because Dalo is injured, Mazraoui can play there. If Mazraoui is injured, somebody will be. That's a proper team, and that's a proper coach. So you can see things, but it's the 9 players at the sport. That thing they didn't try.
just to top up quickly before you move on to the question you want to ask me as to whether the summer window was wasted. I would wholeheartedly say it was completely wasted. Don't look at the signings right now and how they are performing to go like, oh, the window was a success. For instance, like Danny said, if we had sacked Ten Hag and brought in Amorim,
would have gotten a wing back.
You won't. That's the point. He might not have signed a Mazraoui. Mazraoui is playing well, all right. But for his system, probably he would have signed a left-footed right wing back. For instance, he would have prioritized signing a left wing back because he needs wing backs for his system. He will probably sign a specialist player who knows how to play in a 3-back system rather than try and make players like Euro and Delete adapt to the system. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you.
For instance, a Diomande will fit better in this system than a Delete. Although Delete would say, oh, I've played the system before. It's not something he's played over a long period of time or it's used to the Amorim kind of system. Euro, for instance, hasn't even played the system before. Never. But we have to fit him into the right-hand side of a 3-back. I'm not saying these players are bad players or not performing well, but it would have altered the way that we would have made our purchases. For instance, we would have gone for an out-and-out number 9 rather than go for a 6. Making our window probably a 5/5 rather than we trying to make it a 4/5 because we think the other players are playing well. It changes everything completely. So for me, the summer window is a goner. The problem now is, can we even make something of this particular window?
Well, it's looking that when you analyze the news that's happening around and how difficult things have been for us, it's looking like we have narrowed down to 2 areas now. We need an attacker and we need a left wing back. it looks like aside these two, all other things will be shifted to the summer. At least, like Danny said, we need something to give us a bit of an elevation to be able to carry on and complete the season, and maybe in the summer do something. But Kwame, we are very, very much constrained. The last time we were here with Akumia, you guys gave your ideal signings in the likes of Nuno Mendes and the
expectations versus reality.
Expectations. You guys you are bold enough to want to go to PSG to go and sign their first choice left back in January.
No, that's the expectation of a club like Manchester United. The reality, however, over the past 7 days has taught us something completely different. The truth of the matter is, we can't do anything. I have actually lost hope in actually us signing anybody.
The
reason being that when you really pay, there are these accounts that throw more light on the accounting side of things when it comes to the true situation of Manchester United. Very often I look for accounts that are not related in any way and then try and draw a very good comparison between the two. And you see the consistency. Literally, we are fucked. we just dug ourselves into such a deep hole, and the only way to get out of it is to what Ineos is doing right now is they're going like everybody should bite on something hard, right? Because what is ahead of us is going to be rough, and we have to take the most drastic decisions to be able to get out of the problem that we find ourselves. Because Chelsea is not a big club, there were things that were happening at their club that a lot of people were not paying attention to, right? Ultimately,
I mean, you mean not a big club in relation to Man United's stature or size?
In relation to our big size and stature, our exposure, the noise around us. I don't rate them, so me and I call them a small club. I know you understand what I'm trying to say, but they fell into the very same situation that we are in now a few years ago when they couldn't qualify for the Champions League. They got banned a year because of their whole transfer, whatever. And the only way they went around it was to sell almost every homegrown player that they could find. So far as you are tagged homegrown, you are on the chopping block for a sale. And that actually went on all through to the Boyle era. Todd Boyle came and also continued from that tangent. That's the only way we can get out of this trouble for us to be able to spend money is to sell almost all our.
Even added selling properties
without any without any sentiments, no sentiments. So when the news broke out yesterday, earlier on we were murmuring about it. Charlie, the thing, if Kobe Menu and Garnacho safe, we're joking about it. But yesterday was like a slap in our face, like wake up, this is reality. The club is saying that we may not necessarily want to do it, but if a bid came out for them,
when push comes to shove and a bid comes,
we'll consider selling. That's what I said. You know what? This is the peak of it. We are there, like red line. We are almost even going under the red line. So it's gotten to the point where, like Danny said, no sentiments. If you can sell a Garnacho for 40 million euros, 50 million euros. He goes, you can sign 3-4 players, pay how FFP and PSR work. It allows you to be able to sign different types of players. People should not even look at the price tag to sign these players for. The math works in a completely different way. I wish we could have a whole pod where we could just explain to people exactly how these rules work. But what it simply means is anybody at a football club right now, even Euro, if we have to sell him again, to get our money back so that we can maneuver, we would have to do it. But this window,
Daddy says he begs.
This window, right now, everybody is on the chopping block. Just do what's necessary for us to move forward. This window, the only hope is if Casemiro some way magically is moved for whatever money is being rumored we could get for him. If we get 20 million pounds for Casemiro right now, at least I'll be hopeful that we can get a left wing back. At least, because emergency there, we need a left wing back. The balance of the squad dictates that we need a left wing back. We would need a central midfielder to replace Casemiro. But would there be enough funds to be able to do that as well? I doubt. We'll probably ride with the whole Bruno Fernandes, Menu, Ugarte kind of axis and try and just maneuver the season. We need a striker. Zexi says he doesn't want to go. If we could sell Zexi to Juventus, we would have money to bring in a striker. But if he's not going to, it looks like the only other way is to get rid of Rashford on loan, bring in another loan striker, in which it's been rumored that we are bringing in Kolomwani.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Kolomwani guarantees us goals. I have no idea. But ultimately, the sum of it is the season is gone. The best thing Ineos can get out of this season right now is prepare us financially for the summer. Right? If they can make some sales, they can get some players off the books now. It puts us in the better states heading into the summer. And then in the summer, they just go hard on it and try and get the kind of squad that the manager needs.
Well, the situation isn't looking nice. I mean,
at all.
It's not looking nice. I don't want you to raise your hopes. We have just about... We are getting into a quarter of the how do you call it? 1/3 of the month. Very soon, 2/3 will be gone, and then the transfer window will be gone. So, for me, my prayer is that I just hope that we're able to get at least a left wing back, a left wing back in there, so we can make Dalo rest, because the guy is playing. Our wing backs are playing too much football. Sorry. Too much football.
We have only 2 wing backs.
We just have the 2 of them. They are playing too much.
The other two on holiday. The left winger, wing back, they're on holiday.
Like you don't plan with Luke Shaw. You don't plan with Luke Shaw. Malacia has lost form completely. It will take a lot of time and a lot of games to get him back. Anytime you've watched him play, you see that the guy is struggling. He can't play football, but he's just not up to scratch, because
he's been out for 1.5 years.
1 year and over. 1 year and over, and it's hard for him. Anyway, so that's it with the transfers. We don't have much time, so let's quickly switch to what's happening on the pitch, proper. Danny, we found a way to magically get ourselves, some points at Anfield, a very difficult ground. And the coach said a lot of things. He said he was so annoyed. Not because of the fact that we got 1 point, but the previous games and how we've played and how things have been. Now we go to the Emirates again, a place where we found it difficult lately. I mean, since Arteta came in, I'm not sure we've ever won at the Emirates. I'm not sure we've ever had a win at the Emirates. I think the last time we won at the Emirates was that FA Cup win. If my memory serves me right, the one Jesse Lingard and co went to score. I don't know if ever had a win again at the Emirates since then, because Ole couldn't beat Unai there in the league. We lost 2-0 when Ole came in. I don't think we've ever had another win there.
Arsenal have won like 5 or 6 straight games against us. Like, we can't even beat them anyway.
Yes, so that's how difficult it's been. You cast, Danny. I've seen you are casting your mind back. It's still not getting.
Yeah, I can't find it. The last I remember the blue flag just, but that was fully.
No, it's a dance floor.
The dance floor. That was the last time we ever won there. So another task. It's another FA Cup.
Yeah, we're out. Yeah. Look, see, let's not burden ourselves with some things. Yeah. We've put the manager in a very difficult position. And I was telling somebody that the best blessing Man United can get in the second half of the season is to exit as many competitions as possible. I was happy when we went out.
Except for the Europa League.
Yeah, except for the Europa League. I was happy when we went out of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
FA get out quick. Because if you look at the schedule, if we go out of the FA Cup, we'll basically be playing 1 match a week until the Europa League comes back.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in a good enough position, you can start focusing on the Europa League by the ending of March. The league will not even matter, because we'll go relegation. We'll not go relegation, and we'll not finish European places. So don't do yourself. And then you focus on the Europa League and let the Europa League be like your main focus.
Yeah.
Do all your tactical tweaks and everything. Use the Premier League as the experiment ground. And
training.
Won't go relegation. Look, Chelsea have done it before. The 2012. You go back watching Chelsea's games from ending of February in the 2012 season.
Yeah.
They're using the guys who had just come from injury in the league.
Yeah.
Then when you build the fitness, then you go and play the Champions League. They kill themselves. He might tell you, not say rich. He's not now coming to kill himself on weekly games and. So he focused on cup games. He was focused on the FA Cup games. He used his best squad for the FA Cup. Use his best squad for the Champions League. When it comes to the league, then ACM, the time ACM heads, ACM then Mikelobi will play in the league. Then he'll go and use Lampard and the big boys in the Champions League. Yeah. Sometimes you just accept where you are. And you see, Man United finishes like 12th or 13th and we win the Europa League. It's a big success this season. It's a big one. Yeah. And I've looked at the teams in the Europa League. And on our day, there's no
we can beat everyone. That's true.
It's about properly managing the squad and keeping them fresh for the competition. That's one mistake Ten Hag did in his first season. And it pained me, Papa. Because the kind of form we had during that time, we got too excited. So we're playing basically the same team every time. He was playing Casemiro, Eriksen, Rashford. You remember the first 11? They play them every single game. Then went to mess up against Sevilla in the first leg, threw away a 2-goal lead. Then in the second leg, they were
the injuries even started mounting from that game.
I mean, the boys were fatigued. We ended up losing the game. But if you look at that Europa League, and
we could have won it. We could have won it easily. Yeah.
So pick your battles. That's for me. It's about picking your battles. Don't worry. The FA Cup, no. Look, and to be frank, what happened yesterday with Arsenal losing the first leg? Arsenal will be very serious about the FA Cup. Yeah. Don't be surprised to name their best squad in that FA. And it's at Emirates. Yeah. Don't go and struggle and overexert yourself when history has taught you that whether you force or you don't force or you lose. Let's lose this one and let's think about next season. We can always get better and come and tackle them next season. But for me, my focus is on the Europa League. Get out of the FA, save yourself, have enough time with the coach without the excesses of having to play some of these matches. And then, look, trust me, if Man United builds some certain level of form getting to the end of the season, okay, the confidence booster it will give us at the starting of next season will be serious. Like, for me, I just feel like some of the players just need
like how Chelsea ended last season, right?
Exactly. Some of the players just need to believe that the system will work. And when you go on that summer break, the mindset coming into next season will be completely different. Yeah. But if we have that wishy-washy, like what happened at the end of last season, losing every game, 4-0 here, Basa, then you go and win some one-off FA Cup final. Meanwhile, when they were passing by the Man City players on the pitch, they could tell the City players were drunk. So the players themselves knew that the win was a fluke, and then the coach, so when they came back the following season, this season, they are not doing anything, they were not doing anything to show that Basa, everything all over the place. But if we can end this season well, it doesn't matter. Reach a Europa League final or semi-final or show some nice form getting to the end of the league season. Next season, you go.
Kwabe, 2 minutes to go. What do you have to say? Emirates FA Cup.
I think we'll beat Arsenal.
You think we'll beat Arsenal?
Yeah, I think we'll beat Arsenal. See, Arsenal, you know I hate Arsenal more than any other team. I'm not going to sit there ever to accept Arsenal will ever.
Kwabe's hatred for Arsenal is just epic.
I don't understand it.
It is the age we found ourselves, the rivalry we met when we joined United. So it's more like it was.
It's Alex Ferguson, Wenger.
That's what we grew up. Knowing. So basically, that's it.
I get you, pa. I get you.
And if you ask any Arsenal fan, though it's not Chelsea they hate the most, it's Manchester United.
Exactly.
It's Manchester United. But see, I think when Arsenal get into this kind of form, historically, they lose competitions in a row. Their season ends around this January, February. The curve. They have this propensity to go on this. I'm losing a
run of losses.
And the season is over, and literally we are just fighting for a top 4 spot or something like that.
Yeah,
and I feel they have started off on the same notes. Coming off a performance at Anfield, I don't think we are going to go into this game short of confidence. I think we can land a blow on them because they are reeling their heads. They have injury problems as well. I heard that kid that in
Waneri,
is also injured. Saka is injured. So many players are injured. They are relying on Jesus and Havertz to score their goals for them. Yeah. We can go in there and then land a blow on them, wreck their season. I'm not expecting us to win the FA Cup. I just want us to go there, wreck their season, and then move on to Southampton. 6-pointer, and then move further away from relegation, and then we carry on from there.
Thank you, guys. It's been great having you on the podcast. It was fun. It was actually fun having the two of you and having to talk about Man United and everything. I mean, our problems are there. We still have to enjoy and then see. So we'll be back here after the game against Arsenal to analyze on Sunday, and then we'll bring you another podcast edition of the podcast. So that's how we end the podcast. My name is Kwame. I was here with Daniel Cranting and also Kwame Nchubu. Thanks for being a part of us. Subscribe, like the videos, share your comments as you do with us always, and also remember to always hit the notification bell so that when we drop a new episode, you'll be the first people to enjoy. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.